man, it's a hard one. So difficult. There is quite, I don't know how other people feel about this, and I've looked and no one's really talking about it, but us musicians are sensitive souls, passionate about our instrument, love what we do. And when someone turns around and just says, you're not good enough, it's like, oh, but what? I learnt the album, like I played it all perfectly, like what do you mean? You know, sometimes it's just a case of someone, like there's an image, like just, you know, that person has like loads of tattoos and looks a certain way, and then you're just left like, oh, okay, well I definitely don't have that, and it comes down to more of an image thing than even like the drumming. Yeah, it's kind of quite a difficult one to manage, and if you have been through that and you haven't got an audition, just know that one of the best bits of advice that was given to me is, and you can always take things from them, which we'll sort of go into. One of my very close friends, pro drummer, still touring and playing in one of the biggest UK bands, he just said, oh, don't worry, mate, wasn't meant to be. And it still makes me smile. Like I was 19 when I went for that. I'm now 37 in a David Brent way. I'm in my 30s. And trying to downplay the age. Yeah, it's quite a hard one to talk about, actually. Suddenly it's stuff that you haven't talked about or ever really thought about bringing up is, still a bit of a gut punch, actually. Didn't realise that that particular audition would still linger, and I'd still feel not emotional, but a little bit like, oh, yeah, still hurts even to this day. But yeah, like this particular band that I auditioned for, I was only meant to learn 3 songs, and I learnt the album, worked super hard for it, like really went for it, and I was basically just told in an email the next day, you just didn't hit hard enough. Okay. I learnt the album, played everything perfectly, got on well with the guys. I just remember thinking, that sucks. That really sucks. And then spoke to Darren, and he was like, oh, don't worry, mate, it wasn't meant to be. But he was so right. Like, you might not get a particular audition, and you can always learn like that. You might get constructive feedback, like, hey, we just felt like timing, wasn't quite there, or maybe, you're clearly just like more of a rock drummer than like the sort of pop gig that we've got. And that's great if you get something constructive, but if you just get something sort of like you just didn't hit hard enough, it's like, well, invite me back tomorrow, man, and I'll smash the crap out of that, like, hire kit that you've got for this audition. And in that particular audition, it was really hard to hit super hard because the kit was terrible. It was sliding around all over the place, couldn't hear anything, like the monitors were ridiculous, and I was trying to find the groove of the band, it just wasn't a good one. This thing around like rejection and auditions and not getting it, it's always great if you can get something constructive. That whole saying of like it wasn't meant to be can actually be true. Like that particular one that I didn't get, the bands, I don't know, they probably continued for about 9-12 months afterwards, and then the whole thing just fell apart and they split. And then I went on to play for like a pop artist and started doing recording, had management. I was showing up to gigs where there was a kit set up for me already. It was all very professional. So, and I had the best time, and they were the nicest people ever. And I remember, that audition I didn't get, and I think, man, if I did get that, and then it just fell apart, and then I would have missed out on this opportunity that I had. So it's hard not to take not getting an audition to heart, because if you really wanted a particular gig, and then you don't get it, it's not an easy pill to swallow by any means. It can be quite hard. So my thing of really managing to deal with that is to, get constructive feedback when you can, and just know that it's like, okay, didn't get this one, on to the next. You've that psychological headspace of like, you're going into it, but you're already preparing yourself for the next gig. Whereas I was really harsh, because I have to remember I was between the age of 16 and 26. I'd say it's like no age. Certain maturities and life experiences hadn't come along, shall we say, and to have such my headspace now is completely different. My mental health, but when you're just a kid like that, and I was seeing other guys of a similar age that were already on tour buses and like, you know, they'd sort of made it. And I felt like I was always comparing myself to people at like the very top. Try and just like be kind to yourself, understand why you didn't get it, look to improve on those points, and always be thinking about like the next audition that you want to go for. It's like you can be the best guitarist, drummer in the world, but sometimes it's just the certain style that they're looking for, and that is just the music industry through and through. You know, it's a cruel mistress. It's pretty ruthless. You know, you're top of the world one day and gone the next, and no one knows who you are. So you just have to try, and it's like almost like a business mindset of not letting the emotional side creep in and just treating it as like, I'm here to do X, Y, and Z, like I'm going to play these songs, and not get too wrapped up in like the outcome, because you always want to be thinking ahead to the next thing. So look, it's not a crazy long video, but I did just want to share my take on it, things that I've been through, things that I think you can certainly sort of learn and improve on, and yeah, good luck.